I watched the movie, the love story from back in the day that f***ed up many people today in the day. The Way We Were is the movie that is referenced in the iconic Sex and the City.
Oh, I love that movie. No, I love, love, love that movie.
The world is made up of two types of women, the simple girls and the Katie girls. I'm a Katie girl.
And the not so much iconic J-Lo's own love story.
You'll never find anyone as good for you as I am, to believe in you as much as I do or love you as much.
I know that.
Well, then why?
And boy, did I get to know Katie and the famous Hubble. A couple of disclaimers. There is a part that I personally consider SA, but I'm gonna put the time step at the time when I start talking about it so then you can, move forward. But if in general, just alluding to that makes you feel very uncomfortable, you do you. Watch some other videos and focus on taking care of yourself. Also, according to my research, this was one of the first movies that had a female lead. So it was quite a stepping stone for women all around. But did the representation make us feel empowered, or were we suddenly marked as just a little bit too dramatic and crazy? Let's see. Oh my God, people who love this movie are gonna come after me. Well, we're always up for a challenge. Please be kind. It's 1940s, the war hasn't ended yet, and Katie is running to work. She's working at a radio station. But she's not talking about the latest hits. According to ChatGPT,
this station was used to broadcast news, updates, and propaganda to boost American morale, encourage support for the war effort, and influence public opinion.
Katie is an activist. She's also a very strong woman. She does not take shit from no one. If she wants to mention black market, she's gonna mention black market. Okay? Okay.
You're making me a complete bitch just to keep in your black market propaganda.
Look, Peggy, I'll tell you.
Who's that?
Her boss comes in and he wants some coffee. Katie's gonna get him, but first she wants to know how the meeting with Pentagon went. Well, all they see is red. You see, it was a sensitive time. There was an ideological battle between communism and capitalism. US being a representative of capitalism, democracy, and free country, while Soviet Union being on the side of communism, having social equality at the expense of country having the control, economical control. I think. So if anyone had a little bit too much of leftist views, that could be considered as problematic. You could be cancelled. Okay, I'm joking, but at that time it was quite serious, okay? There's also an actress in the studio, and because she's making a little bit of fuss about Katie's demand, the boss is like, next time just don't hire her. She's a little bit too much. She's a little bit dramatic. A dramatic woman making a fuss loses her job. Weren't those the times? Did it ever change though? So we learned that Katie is working for the government. She is very interested in the topic and in general how to support the country. And the pay is good. It's not the kind to afford eating at a fancy restaurant. So when her boss offers her the spot because another person canceled to join him at El Morocco, she's excited. The place is everything you would imagine it to be. Live music, it's packed, people are dancing, chatting, smoking, drinking. Women are wearing beautiful dresses and fancy hats, and men are rocking their suits. Some of them also uniforms. It's the time before the internet. People actually had fun, excluding the war thing. It seems, though, that the place is fully booked and the host is rejecting people who have reservation. But Katie is not gonna have it. She cannot believe that this man, just because he has the power of opening the rope and closing the rope, feels entitled to reject people, decent people, those who even support the country. She wants to know his name and she wants to know why is he not wearing a uniform.
Oh, Jesus, I'm Mary.
We don't mind. In combat, you fascist rope holder.
Her insults are problematic. According to Katie, if you're not gonna serve people who serve the country, you should be ashamed. Her boss is trying to calm her down and calm the situation. He's trying to tip the host, but the host is not having it. Luckily, there is another uniform guy inside already, and when he sees them, he's like, "Hey guys, come in. It's the captain, and Katie takes this opportunity not for the two of them to come in, but also for all the people that were rejected. Their justice. There's nothing like disrespecting the employees when they are probably trying to keep the place safe. As they enter the place, the boss asks her if there is any possibility for her to tone it down on voicing her opinion and voicing her beliefs. But he's giving up. He knows that Katie is not going to do it. He goes to the bar to take some drinks. And as Katie is observing this wonderful place, she's looking around, and there he is, a drunk man sitting behind the bar, sleeping. A sight. Katie cannot believe it. It's him.
Hubble Gardner.
What?
She approaches the bar, and Hubble is very balanced on this chair, despite the fact that he's passing out because he's that drunk. She approaches him, and she's looking at him. She's taking it all in while this man is snoring on a chair. She's excited to see him. Is this really him? 10 years after, she fixes his hair, but then pulls back. It's almost like there's pain in her ass. She fixes his hair, but then pulls back. She stops a little, and it's almost like there's pain in her eyes, like a memory. And we get a flashback to college years. Hubble is running in the park, athletic. The cool kid, the blonde, handsome. While Katie is also in the park, but she's distributing flyers. Again, some activism, political stuff. There was a war in Spain, and she's like, we need to stop it or be aware of it. Support the people. Hubble passes her, and he's mocking her a little bit. He's making a little bit of fun of what is she selling.
The ROTC, you can have it cheap. Fashion.
She doesn't like Hubble. You see, Hubble is the it kid. He's the popular kid. He comes from wealth. He's good looking. Everything comes easy to him. He is athlete. He does every Olympical sport. He has a bunch of friends. He has a girlfriend. And overall, he's living the life. While Katie is always struggling. While going to school and being an activist, she's also working multiple jobs. Things were never easy for Katie. And best believe the college years are also not looking like that. She's the odd one out. But she doesn't care, because in any case, all of these cool kids, they are morons, okay? Everyone just thinks about how they look good, how they are, doing sports, how they're having this nice life when there are real problems in this world. No one cares what is happening in this country, but also outside this country. And it is unacceptable. It's giving the nerd, not like the other girls, activist, and the cool, popular kid. There is a peace rally. Katie is actually a president of Young Communist League. Right? Yeah. And she is to give speech. She seems a little nervous, but there's her friend in the crowd. It's Frankie. The two of them are always together. It's giving that they are the only friends. Like, this is her only friend. So she takes a breath and she steps on the stage. The crowd is booing her, okay? They are not that happy that Katie is doing this. I mean, the nerd again. Not only that, her beliefs are sounding a little bit too Soviet-like, huh?
Back up, Katie! Yeah, all the way to Moscow!
Despite that, Katie has her wits about her, so she quickly snaps back.
The Kremlin is worried about the civil war in Spain, are you?
And finally, she can start talking about what's really important. She has this speech of the importance of solidarity. Despite them being scared, it sucks, times are difficult, but we need to stand for what is right. The crowd is silent. They're paying attention, and she has them. Hubble is also standing in the crowd. It seems like he is impressed by her, impressed by what she stands for. But then everyone starts laughing. Well, you see, behind Katie, there is a sign, Peace Rally. But then the sign turns around and it says, any place but Katie's peace.
Isn't that funny?
I'm gonna be honest, this joke flew over me totally, okay? It's apparently a play on words and mocking Katie in some way. Katie is looking around. She's like, what the fuck? I just had you bitches. She turns around, she sees the signs, and then she yells, "You fascist!" Yeah, she's not taking it well. She's not the type of guru that would take this opportunity to say how sometimes people are so scared of things that they need to make fun of it. But the only way we will all have a laugh is if we lean into our fears, into our vulnerability, and do something about the things that are wrong. No, there was no Tony Robbins to channel at that time. It's late evening and we see Katie running to the restaurant again. She needs to work, but at the same time, she is working on a paper, a story. It's an assignment from school. She's been working on it for the last 3 months because it's really important to her. It has to be good. So she also asked Frankie for a favor if he could lead the meeting and in the next YCL meeting. Frankie is a little bit annoyed because Katie needs to be in these meetings, but they get interrupted because there are some new customers. Yes, this is the cool kids. And Katie is like, do I really need to serve this mother effers? It's Hubble and his best friend and their girlfriends. The girlfriends are talking about prom themes, while the guys are talking about best things.
Huh? Best bourbon. Best ice cream. Best clothes with sound.
Katie cannot believe these superficial conversations. Why don't you just pick a team? Breadlines can be fun.
How about breadlines can be fun?
For those of you who are outside US and are as clueless as I was, breadlines is basically the lines where people get free food. So Katie is being sarcastic about you are talking about these superficial things like theme proms when there are real issues out there. As much as Katie wants that this would be a moment of realization for all of these people here, they just keep on making fun at her.
How about the Stalin Shuffle?
She gives them their water and she walks away. So Hubble gets up and he goes to the counter to order their food. And Katie says that they are all disgusting. Hubble tries to make light of it and he says, come on, we weren't making fun of you. Yes, you were. You make fun of everything. You think politics is a joke. Hubble, though, sees it quite normal. Yes, you make fun of politics. What else do you do?
Well, so is Hitler. He even has a funny mustache. Why don't you have a Nazi prom?
Well, we thought of that. But the uniforms itch.
Hubble is trying to lighten up the situation. Again, put some humor in. Make Katie relax. Chill a little bit. Katie, though, oh no, she does not find it funny. Hubble gives up. He orders burgers and Coca-Cola. So far, I think you got the picture. Where did it all start? Katie being the activist and standing for what is right, while the cool kids and the popular kids being the ones who are just living their life easy. And here's the thing, I am all for standing up for some justice, but I'm also going to say that Katie is coming across a little bit righteous, okay? A little bit too much, I'm better than all of you because I know what's important in this life. It's not the best quality either. She does seem a little bit curious about Hubble. When they are all in the library studying, she cannot resist but to keep peeking in his direction. I mean, what can you do? He's the popular kid. He's the handsome fella. There's something about him. Katie just can't resist it. It is interesting though, isn't it? Having this strong female lead, an activist, stands for what is right. Being totally mesmerized and intrigued by the popular kid who apparently doesn't care about anything and everything just comes easy to him. Did the opposites attract illusion start here? Is this the irresistible love story? Or is it someone being mesmerized by someone who has something that they cannot have? It's giving a little bit like, all of us sitting on a couch, watching TV and condemning all these rich people that have so many Hermes bags and cars and I don't know what. But if I won the lottery, I don't know if I would be above that. I genuinely hope I would be, that I do have some knowledge on consumerism. But also, we are all a little bit suckers for the easy, wealthy life. Maybe Katie is also. Or maybe Hubble is just more than what he shows on the surface. Katie is again running to class. That's how it is. Poor people run. It is the day they will get back the grades for their assignment. The short story Katie was working hard on. She's very nervous. She is anticipating, and especially when the teacher starts the class with, sometimes the story is so good, I just need to read it because we can learn something. So Katie is like, oh my God, is he gonna read my story? But no. It's the freaking cool kid. Hubble wrote the best story. Hubble seems a bit shocked. There is a mix between, oh my God, what? And also, well, I secretly know I'm good. It's almost like he's a little bit uncomfortable that he is now exposed to the class as someone who can write. It's not the right brand for an athlete. Katie is not happy. Okay? The fuck.
The name of the story is The All-American Smile, and it's by Hubble Gardner.
But as soon as the teacher starts reading the sentences from Hubble's story, she's intrigued. She's a bit surprised. She's shocked. Hubble is deep. The story goes, in a way, he was like the country he lived in. Everything comes too easily to him, but at least he knew it. About once a month, he worried he was a fraud. Katie agrees with what was written, but also, she got to know Hubble a little bit better. He's different. He's not like the rest. He's actually aware of his privilege. It sparks something. The teacher reads the last parts of the story. There's really no reason for us to change. But of course, by then they were too lost or lazy. It had always been too easy. Now, all of this is almost like showing a little bit where all of this is gonna go. But at this point, Katie is running again. Honestly, she should be the athlete. She rips her story and she just throws everything in. She is bawling. And people, let me remind you, this was 1970 or this part was put in 1930s. There was no, I save it and I printed. What she typed is what she got. So she is literally getting rid of this story. I know we cannot even imagine it in this day and age. Someone actually taking a decision and getting rid of something? Ooh! You should see how long I've been deciding what the F should I delete from my disk so I can use them again. She's walking back home and it's kind of late evening. As she's walking down the street, she sees Hubble at a bar. She stops and she decides she's gonna cross the street. She does not really want to pass him. But Hubble spots her.
Trouble with some people is they work too hard.
Katie cannot believe that this privileged kid is telling her that some people just work too hard. Some people have to work too hard. Okay, Hubble?
Are you speaking to me?
Hubble asks her to join for a beer, but Katie doesn't drink. One sip of beer. There's nothing like the peer pressure to drink alcohol. She takes a breath and she approaches him. He asks her why does she always carry her books? And she asks him, is this the reason why you made me cross the street? But Hubble is actually celebrating. He's celebrating that he made her cross the street. It's a little funny, humorous exchange that loosens Katie a little bit. Humor has power, people. Smooth, Hubble, smooth. Katie smiles and she apologizes that she let so much time pass before telling him that she really liked his story. He's a good writer. I'm not sure why does she need to apologize to him for not complimenting his story, but I guess those were different times. Today, if I don't like someone, why the fuck would I need to compliment you? Oh yeah, people are better than me. Hubble seems a little bit, there's a sense of vulnerability that's showing there. It looks like someone complimenting his writing means something to him. Right? We said maybe it's his hidden talent. Something that he has doubts if he's really good. Because, he's the athlete, he's the popular guy. There's a bit of silence and Katie seems to want to continue the small chat.
Mr. Simpson married the Duke of Windsor. It'll be in the papers tomorrow.
How do you know that? Papers aren't even out yet.
But Katie is actually working also at a paper place or something. So she kind of gets the information before it's released. It is interesting, no? How Katie, the woman who just cannot stand superficial conversations, is now trying to make small chat about the latest hot topic. Unless this was also like a political type of news, and I should actually zip it. Some things I was just too tired to research. Okay. Because of that, I'm not gonna read into it too much, but you can, okay? We both know what we're thinking. Everything is fair when there's a cute guy involved.
You never quit, do you?
People. It's very interesting for people with money to see other people actually work. It's intriguing. Why do you think Prince Charming chose Cinderella? The second he found out she cleans for her sisters, oh, she different. She's about to leave, but he stops her. I sold one. I sold a story. Katie turns around and she's surprised.
I've never known anybody who sold one. Oh boy, Hubble.
He wants her to toast with him. Remember, she said she's not drinking, but voila, she's taking that drink. A little sip won't hurt nobody. Some values we keep strong, some values are just a little bit silly, okay? Especially if the cute guy is asking me to do it. She takes a sip. Hubble tells her to sit down. Hubble, mister, is this a little bit of S&M foreplay? With all the ordering around? Interesting. Again, I get it. It was 1917. Maybe that's how the conversations went, you know? You just demand. She raises the glass to cheer and she says,
It's your first novel.
Wait a minute, not so fast.
But Katie wonders, why not? And Hubble seems to agree. Yeah, why not? And they cheer. He also offers Katie an advice. She should have laughed at the peace rally, you know, the time when there was this sign. Instead of getting upset about it, she could have just left it out. She's saying things too seriously, and sometimes people then just lean into it. When people notice there's a button to be pushed, oh, they are pushing it. He also compliments her. I mean, she really had them at that speech. She was good.
You could have kept them if only you'd laughed.
Ladies and gentlemen, as long as you women laugh, everything will be good. Give them that smile, sugar. It can come off a bit patronizing. Again, 1970s. But Katie is not having it. Some things are nothing to laugh about. Hubble tells her that she is a little bit too strict and righteous about her own beliefs. She has no sense of humor, and he wonders, why is she always so angry all the time? We see another side of Katie. You see, she starts to defend herself.
Why are you always so angry?
I'm not always, just because I don't know much about your drippy co-ed humor. I mean, I've never been inside one of those fraternities or sororities, which is where I'm sure they make up all that dirty stuff anyway.
Hubble finds Katie amusing and charming. It's like, oh, look how cute she is, all upset. But Biz, she has a question for him.
Do you smile all the time?
He makes a serious face and he says no. They both start smiling. Comedic relief. I'm not sure what are they trying to show us with this scene, but what I'm reading is, you know, the contrast between someone who has it easy in their life and for them it's much easier to see things a little less serious, be a bit more lighthearted about situations. And then on the other hand, someone who always struggles in life, who doesn't have it easy. It's more difficult for them to find humor in things because all the time they're in this fight or flight mode, or better, in this surviving mode. Whatever it was, here we see Katie as someone who is probably struggling being good enough compared to Hubble and his friends and, let's say, the wealthy group.
Mrs. Simpson married the Duke of Windsor. I told you that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
That beer sip went straight to her head. So we see a different side of Katie, a little bit more of a soft side, quirky side. A side that at the end of the day wants to be accepted. It could be also the reason why she is so strong in her beliefs and why she's so righteous and strict and wants to call people out. If I struggle seeing myself equal, then I can compensate it by being very strong in my values and my beliefs, and that gives me that feeling of of, yes, you might not accept me. Yes, I'm different, but I am a representation of what is right in this world and in this life. Because it is interesting how she's shown as this strong woman, but at the same time, when she's interacting with Hubble, who is a representation of this other part, she gets a little bit smitten. That hate she has for people who get it easy or people who only think about superficial things doesn't hold up when it's just the two of them. Then she's kind of like, I kind of like that he's talking to me. You see, any strong woman who has her beliefs, who is upset with how people are treating each other and the world, at the end of the day, is just a girl who wants to be seen by a boy. Should I tone it down? I don't think I will. She stands up, and as she's leaving, Hubble stops her and says, "Put your foot up." Hubble, are we doing this again? It's her shoelace. She puts her foot on his knees and he ties it. They look at each other and he says,
"Go get him, Katie."
And as she is looking at him, as though they are two lovers with words unspoken, but they both know.
See ya, Hubble.
He crosses his arms.
See ya.
And I don't know about you, Biz, but the amount of videos I watched on body language, that says that he's not having it, okay? That says that he is a little bit closed. He's feeling a little bit uncomfortable with how Katie is looking at him. Okay, the scene is 50 years old. I get it. Sometimes just the look meant something. Was already signing the marriage papers or the marriage certificate. It is prom night, the celebration of ending an era. It seems like they decided to have a black and white party. Katie and her friend Frankie are serving punch. They're the employees this evening. Katie is observing all the pretty dresses and she's being a little bit sarcastic, commenting on how they probably just bought it for this one special occasion. What a waste. The cool kids are dancing, they're sneaking in a little bit of alcohol, not really sneaking in, they're literally on the dance floor, in the middle of the dance floor, drinking. And Hubble is having fun with his girlfriend. Katie has actually never been out dancing. So she asked Frankie to take her, to spin her on the dance floor. Frankie is a little bit skeptical because employees are not supposed to mingle. But Katie doesn't care. Katie gets what Katie wants. They go on a dance floor and they are having fun. Everyone is having fun. Oh, before hitting the floor, the two of them also take a sip of gin. I guess Katie is drinking now. And then the slow music comes on. Mary, you know where this is going. Katie is dancing with Frankie, but she's looking around. And it looks like she is looking in Hubble's direction. Hubble's partner gets taken away, which I guess it's normal. So people are dancing on a dance floor and then a guy comes and he's just like, hey, and then they just switch. Today, something tells me a fight would break out. And Hubble makes his way towards Katie. She spots him and she's a little bit scared, but also excited. He asks Frankie to give him Katie, to dance with her, because it's between the men, okay? The men decide what the woman gets. Different times, I guess. Also, today we're twerking in a club. As Katie is putting her arms on Hubble, she seems happy. She smiles and she even bites her lip. Katie, what you thinking, Missy? Honestly, Frankie is not the happiest, but oh well. Hubble and Katie dance into the night, or at least into each other's eyes. There's a pool no one can understand. An activist that hates people who are superficial and don't give a shit about anything is smitten by the hot guy. From my understanding, he has a girlfriend, but you know how it goes. Katie is different and he cannot resist her quirkiness. Katie, I guess your morals and values are selective. Look, I might have too much fun with this movie. This is like 50 years ago. It is a first female lead or focus on a female lead movie, but I cannot resist the obvious bad portrayal of Katie in general and her character. It's like strong values, but who cares about that when there's a hot guy? And here's the thing. I'm not so sure they are wrong showing us a person like that, showing us a teenage girl that behaves this way. I mean, even Taylor Swift told us how she knew that despite her being the nerd, the cool, popular guy, belonged to her. I genuinely hope that's what song was about. And yes, kids. But the problem is when this kind of beliefs also transfer later in life. And some keep pretending that they do not have problems with self-worth and yet wondering, why am I so unhappy in love? They finish the dance and Hubble passes Katie back to Frankie. From one man to the other, back to the other. Just ding, 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 like ping pong. But Katie cannot keep her eyes from Hubble as he's walking away. There's again sadness there. It's the realization that they might not see each other ever again. And boom, we are back in the bar. 10 years later, drunk Hubble sitting on a chair, freakishly balanced, and Katie shocked that she sees him again. Hubble, she calls to him. He wakes up. Oh.
What do you know?
Small world, isn't it?
He recognizes Katie, but he's also out of his mind. Katie is smiling at him, and it's almost like she came. Okay, no. That sounds weird. It's giving as though he was searching for her and she's finally there, but everything happening in her mind. She asks him if he would like to have a cup of coffee, to sober him up. And if you think that she's referring to the cup of coffee in this restaurant, in this bar where she could easily order it, you'd be as surprised and shocked as I was. No, bis. Listen to this. And right here, I'm going to put the timestamp. This story can be a little bit triggering, so you can then move forward. Okay? All you need to know is that Katie does not look the best in this scene. We see Katie, passed out Hubble, Katie's boss, and another woman in a cab, driving home. And they stop at Katie's place. So the boss motions to Katie to go out and to take Hubble with her. He's like, I'm your wingman. Katie is a little bit uncomfortable. She doesn't really know what to do, but she's like, okay. She opens the door and she takes Hubble. Again, the man is barely standing. Now she's a little bit uncomfortable because this is an unexpected visit, okay? And sometimes your apartment is not at the state you want it to be. Luckily, she's on the top floor, so she just goes a little bit faster than Hubble. He's stumbling. He's going to take some time to come up.
Only one more!
And she quickly opens the window, puts some stuff away, and starts to prepare coffee. Hubble finally comes up and he goes to the bathroom.
In there.
Katie, again, is nervous. She's excited. Oh my God, he's here. The guy from the high school. And as she's exiting the kitchen with, coffee and everything, she sees the bathroom door open and close on the floor. Now, this is not close as in rose petals, making your way to the bedroom. No, this is obviously a drunk guy taking off his clothes and just throwing it everywhere. She finds him in her bedroom, naked and passed out. The kettle whistle goes off, and it actually wakes up Hubble. He looks up and he's like,
General quarters, countdown. Stay safe. Forward.
The man doesn't even know where he is. Katie rushes to the kitchen, she takes the kettle off, and she comes back to the bedroom. Katie seems a bit disappointed. She didn't expect that he's gonna pass out in her bed. But that's no reason to stop. Why wouldn't she take things in her own hands? I mean, at the end of the day, it is a female lead, right? Women should take what they want. I genuinely do not understand what the F is this scene. I guess for 1970s, a female lead meant make her as problematic as possible. Just make her one of the guys. It's normal for a guy to, make the girl a little bit tipsy so she loosens up so you can be intimate, right? So why wouldn't Katie also do that for a man? That's the strong woman, right? Hubble is in this bed, passed out. Some might say not able to give a consent. Okay. She starts taking her clothes off. and she lies naked next to the passed out Hubble. We were watching and like none of us could actually believe this is happening. She lays down next to him, and there's a combination of her being a little, maybe anxious, a little bit. He's lying next to me. Oh my God, what am I doing? But also excited, also like looking forward to the two of them being in this bed together after 10 years, right? This is the guy from college. This is the one that got away. Mind you, they never had anything in college, okay? They never were a thing. They just exchanged a couple of words and that's it. She makes a little move on him. She touches his hair. And Hubble turns around and it looks like he's close to her and he's kissing her neck. Honestly, it looks like someone who turns around and, just presses his head something and oops, it's the neck. And Katie is, she's feeling it. Hubble seems to wake up a little bit and he starts kissing her. He goes on top of her and Katie is enjoying it. I'm not sure if it was intended, but basically he goes up, he does a little bit of moves, and then he stops. Like he passes out again. So I guess they were having sex. Katie is lying there with Hubble on top of her, and a tear goes down her eye.
Hubble, it's Katie. You didn't know it was Katie.
Excuse me, what? Excuse me, what? Two options. Katie might be feeling bad. She might realize that, oh my God, this is so wrong. Like, what the fuck? Or Katie might feel bad because he didn't realize it was her. He won't even remember it was her. How can this be a magical experience of true love if he doesn't even remember it was you? I wonder which one the writers wanted it to be. Imagine the message when this movie was released. Yes, it is okay for a woman to get naked and lie next to a drunk man. Men want that. Take him. No wonder it's taking us decades to finally be open, to vocalize and even understand and accept how fucked up are we. I mean, the whole acceptance of men also being victims. If you show how if a woman makes a move on a drunk man, that's all what he wants because he's all about sex. Yeah, it does make it difficult for men to come out when they feel like they've been a victim. I'm shocked that this was considered normal. Seriously. Honestly, from this point on, it was very difficult for me to see Katie as anything but someone who just takes what she wants in this case. It is supposed to be a love story, but it is anything but that. It's literally someone using the other person for their own fantasy and illusions. If you by any chance see yourself as Katie, okay, and find it inspiring, I personally would try to understand myself better and try to work on myself. It's the next day and Katie is ironing Hubble's uniform. He wakes up and he looks like he has no idea what happened. He's clueless. He asks her if she has aspirin. There's a little bit of a hangover. But Katie doesn't have aspirin because, you should just press on your temples.
Push in on your temples.
Quirky Katie. Hubble is not amused and he doesn't really understand how someone doesn't have an aspirin. But the thing is that Katie is fighting headache with food. She points at a fully loaded table. She prepared breakfast. According to some critics, this is where we see a motherly side of Katie, where all she wants to do is cater to Hubble. Hubble doesn't seem to be into it. He seems a little bit annoyed, to be honest. It seems that he's actually a little bit uncomfortable waking up at Katie's place. I mean, imagine you go out, you get drunk, and the next morning you wake up at someone you knew from high school. You don't probably feel the most peachy. He asks her if she's seen his watch, and Katie says that she took it off and put it on a bedstand. She notices that Hubble is a little bit resistant, a little bit closed off, maybe a little bit awkward. Because I guess Katie was expecting that Hubble will be happy and excited because wasn't he into her also back in the day? Was that all in her head? Yes, it probably was. He notices that there's something different about her. It's her hair.
That's what's different.
Yeah, I have it ironed.
You have your hair ironed? Does it hurt?
No.
You see, back in the day, Katie had this curly hair. But right now, she's more appropriate. Hubble also can't stay for breakfast. He needs to meet his friend JJ. Katie is surprised that he's even hanging out with the kids from the high school. Like, you're still friends with JJ? Okay. She invites him to at least have coffee, but he's running late, so he can't. As he's walking out, Katie asks him how long is he staying here? Where is he stationed? He's stationed in Washington, and that's exciting, according to Katie, because Roosevelt is there. She's a fan.
I thought the party said he was an evil warmonger.
How do you know what the party said?
You still think a varsity letter stands for moron, huh?
Hubble calls out Katie how she is judging the book by its cover. Or let's say how the athletes are morons. She smiles, he got her with that one. And she actually reflects how some people turn out better than you think. Oh, are you telling me that Katie does not even see this man as smart or capable or whatever, and she took him to her bed while he was drunk? Now, how is that a love story and not Katie using Hubble? Make it make sense. What kind of women empowerment is this? Huh? It's giving women should just be like men, right? If the man's representation is how they take advantage of women just for sex, why don't we put a woman in that position? But don't worry, we're gonna frame it as though this is all in the name of love. It's true love, true story. Interesting. As he's trying to leave again, Katie stops him because she needs to give him a little note. On the note, she wrote down where is she working, what studio she's at, so if he's ever back in town again, he can call her. It's difficult to get hotel rooms,
No obligation, of course.
Mary, this woman does not know how to take a hint. It is clear that he does not want to be there, nor does he care about them, ever talking again or whatever. You might say he's a jerk. I would say he's confused why he is even there, rightfully so. I mean, rightfully. You need to have some responsibility for getting drunk, but all in all, that doesn't give the right for someone to just take you to their place. He tries to leave again, but Katie stops him again. I mean, this woman does not know how to stop. Oh, about last night. Okay, I'm intrigued. She's gonna address it, but Hubble interrupts her. Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, lately I've been falling asleep anywhere, but thanks for putting me up. I hope I didn't wake you up with my snoring. The man does not know. The man is clueless. And Katie is a little bit disappointed because, she thought this meant something. Making a move on an unconscious man.
Well, that's okay. I like snoring.
And for a second there, they lock each other's eyes again. Hubble wonders, did she just tell him she likes him? I mean, it does feel good when someone tells you they like you. Okay. Let me know in the comments below how you felt about all of this. And if you were eating food while listening to this, watching this, did the food stay in? That's what I want to know. Katie is back at work. She's actually outside and she's distributing flyers for another political event. She goes to the station and they're actually in a little bit of a pickle. You see, these days, everything needs to be censored. So whatever they prepared to air that day, it's missing half of the show. Katie is annoyed and there's a call. She picks up the phone and it's Hubble. Biz, the way she switches from an angry mop to a little sweet chihuahua. Wait, chihuahuas can get very snappy.
Hello.
Okay. I'll sign.
Hubble? Where are you?
Grant's tomb. I can't get a room anywhere. Listen, can I use your couch?
Oh, of course you can use my couch.
That's how it is, right? When the man is in the picture, then our feminine and nurturing side comes out. The way she's excited about this call is what's the word? What's the disturbing? He's back in town and she was right. He cannot get a free room. So he asks her if he can crash at her place, on her couch to be precise. Katie is excited. Of course he can stay at her place. She tells him that there's a beer in the fridge and blah, blah, blah. And she runs from work to the grocery store. She's buying the best meat and they're gonna have a little date at her place. That's what is probably going through her mind. She's approaching her building, but she sees Hubble already leaving. So she yells after him, "Hubble!" He didn't know when she'll be home, and he asks her if she has like a key that she can give him so then he can enter when he's back. But Katie is not having it.
Could you leave a key or...
No, you can. I got steaks and baked potatoes and sour cream and chives and salad and fresh baked pie. And you must be hungry because, with all the hotel hunting, you couldn't have had time to eat or anything. You can't go yet. You've got to stay for supper. That's all there is to it.
Now, you might say, it is rude of him how he's treating someone who is gonna offer him to sleep at his place, right? He should be a little bit more, showing the appreciation, not treating it as a hostel. Also, she can be a little less cray-cray. I'm telling you, people, with the eyes of a modern woman, Katie was not a good example. According to my research, this was actually seen as a power move. She's telling him what she wants. She's not just, being submissive and letting him do whatever he wants. She is very strong in stating what is right and what is not right. And him not having dinner with her is not right. And honestly, I can kind of try to understand it or get it. Imagine if this was even first film or one of the first movies where the focus was on a female lead. I guess the only equality that there can be is if a woman stands for her rights, she does it in a very whiny and emotional and a dramatic way. Hubble is intrigued. It's cute how a woman is so erratic and so vocal about having this dinner together. He decides to stay. So they're back in the apartment and they have some political exchange. Again, it's obvious that they have different views when it comes to politics and it's clashing a little bit. But the most important thing is, why can't she just say asses? That's what Hubble wants to know. Why can't she just say ass instead of behind?
Sitting on their behinds while the Russians were taking a beating.
Why can't you say asses?
I don't know. Nothing. What a subject for two girls.
It's interesting.
Again, Hubble finds it amusing. He's also intrigued how she keeps talking about politics, despite politics being so contradicting. One day we hate the president, the next day we love the president. This is right, this is wrong. How can she keep up with standing for what she believes in? Katie doesn't understand how he can't. Again, Katie is a strong woman with strong beliefs, while Hubble is just confused. I wonder how would Hubble be seen today when the majority of us is confused when it comes to politics. Katie thinks, though, that Hubble is jealous. He's jealous for the fact that she can stand for what is right. Hubble smiles and he's like, jealous? You're jealous.
And how you doing?
I don't know how you can. You're jealous.
What?
You are.
Okay, you two kids. She asks him why is he jealous, and he says that he'll live longer. The notion is he sees politics as very confusing, and at the end of the day, we are all just puppets, so it's better if you just let it go, stop fighting all the time, and just focus on living. Have a little less stress in your life. Katie is not convinced, though. Why isn't he writing another novel? Hubble seems a little bit puzzled. What? Katie smiles and goes to her bookshelf, and she brings Hubble's first novel.
I liked it, Hubble. I liked it a lot.
Hubble seems a little bit skeptical, as though he's not good at taking compliments. It's nighttime. They're sitting by the fireplace with drinks in their hands. And they are still talking about the freaking book. If you want to get men's attention, if you want him to want to spend time with you, all you need to do is praise his achievements. All you need to do is make him feel like he is the most important thing in this world. At the end of the day, that's what men want. They want for someone to see how good they are. They want to be the best. And a woman A woman is there to support that. You know, if you think about it, it's kind of the same for both sides. Woman feels special when a man sees how great she is because she can see the beyond, the better side of him. And a man feels special when a woman sees how great he is, being the beyond. Despite praising him, though, she does have a little critique. What's that? A woman critiquing a man? That was a move back in the day.
But you stand back.
Where?
In the book.
I know in the book. Where in the book? Be specific.
All through it, Hubble.
All over the book, okay? The book is great, but it's also crap. You know, when you learn about narcissistic behaviors or how they make you feel a certain way just for them to take it away, I'm not saying Katie is a narcissist or anything like that, but this made me realize how this looks like. You see, Katie talks how good this book is, makes Hubble feel better, makes Hubble feel like, okay, I want to spend more time with this lady, you know, because he has his own issues. Want to feel special much? Just to then take it away and make him feel like he's not good enough, like there's something more. Not only that, she sees how good he can be, and she's the one who can also recognize it where he could be better, where his mistakes lie. Concerning. So this is the scene, right? We have one person who is not interested at all until his hidden talent is being praised, and the other one who is interested in this man despite having clear differences in values, just because she herself wants to be chosen and great. She might potentially be a part of the dark triad personalities, right? That's also questionable. But who cares? It's all in the name of love, right? Katie does have faith that Hubble is gonna do all the corrections needed when he runs his second novel. But Hubble is confused. Why does she think he's gonna write a second novel?
What makes you think I'm going to write a second novel?
Because you must. You're too good a writer not to.
So here's the thing. It's good to be supportive. It's good to encourage people when they might have a bit of fear, believing in themselves that they can do something they actually want to do. But don't think that just because you can support them or you see that they could be better, that they have a potential, you can also push it. At the end of the day, the person needs to decide for themselves. When you're pushing too much, especially under the, I know you can be better, I know you have this and you have the potential and this and that, it can create pressure and expectation that the other person doesn't know how to deal with. Suddenly, they might find themselves trying to fulfill that expectation that you see when they themselves are not ready yet, don't want it, or just don't believe it and they don't want to start believing it. Despite having good intention of pushing person to do better for themselves, at the end of the day, it has to be their decision. And when it is their decision, then you can be there to support. He looks at her with curiosity and he wonders, how can she be so sure about everything she's so sure about? Katie smiles and she wonders, isn't he sure about things? And no, Hubble isn't so sure about everything.
Do things still come too easily?
Huh?
In a way, he was like the country he lived in. Everything came too easily to him.
Katie repeats the short story or some phrases of it from back in the day. The story about a man who gets everything too easily. Hubble is surprised, how does she even remember that? And Katie says that she always wondered if it would change.
Now, what in hell made you remember that?
I always wondered if it would stay true.
Something tells me that Katie was waiting for that karma to kick in, okay? For these people who have it easy to, for once, not have it easy. Will you ever understand what struggle means? That's what she's waiting for. And Hubble admits, yeah, today some things don't come as easy anymore. It was kind of difficult to find a free room in this town.
Hotel rooms.
Be serious.
and he kisses her. Now, maybe we can't, but let's try and have some fun. Let's imagine this is a situation happening in this day and age. A man who always gets things easily and a woman who always struggles. But they passionately kiss because they acknowledge it. I like to see that Tinder date going this well. I honestly see Hubble being very honest here. In a way, like he's being a bit cryptic, but at the same time, he might just be honest. And Katie not wanting to see that he's actually being honest. Because Katie wants to believe that he's better than just having things easy. She wants to believe that she sees there is something better in him than what he shows. Katie wants to believe that she knows him better than he knows himself. She just needs to help him get that out. And one day, it will be magical. He tells her she is beautiful and she likes it. She smiles. But he also adds that she shouldn't be so serious.
But you mustn't be too serious.
I won't be.
But that's the thing though. How many of us or how many women out there were the rebel type? Not like the other girls. Interested in more than just beauty and dances and superficial things. Just to then be totally submitted to a guy under the disguise of he sees that I'm special. And I also know that he is more special than what he shows. Something tells me that this is how the cool girl trope started. Instead of seeing equality despite the difference, it's all about being the same. And I think it all comes from the false self-love we think we have and very true lack of worth we actually have. So then we are putting this exterior of this rebel, of this fighter, of this, better than others, because at the end of the day, it is difficult to confront the fact that you might not feel that good enough, that you need to compensate with something that it's larger than just who you are. And who else to show you how special you are, how worthy you are, than the it person that at the end chose you. And by it, I mean the person you put on a pedestal for whatever reason, right? Because they have something you feel like is the top, the status, the looks, the reputation, I don't know. That person seeing you as the special one. I have to say that overall, this movie is quite confusing. But then on the other hand, I think it's a good representation of what is happening today in life, or what is happening in reality when you are driven by wanting to be special, being recognized as special. Now, is it because we were influenced by movies like this, or that's in our nature? Which came first, chicken or the egg? At this point, what I'm seeing is first, Katie hating but secretly loving the popular guy. When he appears 10 years later, she uses him because at the end of the day, it's something special that they are reunited. On the other hand, Hubble being intrigued by her rebellious state, right? Something that he doesn't have. And he starts being interested in her only when she offers that she can make him better. He can be better than what he is. And then again, Katie feeling desperate to be accepted by him because at the end of the day, this is special. He actually sees how good she is for him. He finally recognizes it. Mary, I do not know about you, but to me, it's all very problematic. Katie and Hubble are a couple now. We go through a montage of all the fun stuff they do together. They have drinks together. They go on a boat on a lake. She's the one who's rowing. I mean, hey, it's the female lead. That means she can do what a man can do. She's rowing the boat while the guy is chilling and sitting and enjoying. Honestly, this cracked me up so much. It was like the director said, you want a female lead? Here's how a female lead should be. A man. One day she also buys him a typewriter and Hubble is like, what's this? A little humor. You know that men will never show appreciations for a gift. It's all fun and games until you end up in a relationship where they show no contempt for anything or appreciation and you're trying to convince your friends he's not a jerk, he's just a man. He invites her to hang out with his friends, JJ, back from high school, and the others. But Katie is not so keen about it. She doesn't really like that crowd. I wonder if Katie likes Hubble as Hubble on his own and tries to totally neglect the fact that he is a part of that crowd. They are his friends. It's almost like Katie does not want to accept Hubble fully. She just wants to accept the parts that Katie sees as the parts that are the right one. Him actually being a deep writer and not a guy that likes to have the wealthy parties. But he convinces her and she goes. It's the, again, typical what you would imagine, right? The piano, the guests singing, everyone having fun. Katie feeling a little bit uncomfortable. She's sitting next to Hubble, and as everyone is talking, she is visibly annoyed. She feels like she doesn't belong. At one point, she stands up and she goes to the balcony. She needs some time for herself. Carol Ann follows her. It's Hubble's ex from back in the day. Now she's actually together with JJ. She asks her if she's okay, and she notices that there's something different about Katie.
You look different. It's my hair. I have it ironed.
You what?
In Harlem. I actually have friends in Harlem.
Katie tells her that she irons it. In Harlem. She actually has friends in Harlem. Katie is giving, I have black friends, therefore I am better than all of you. But Carol Ann pokes back. She checks Katie a little bit.
Sure you do. Would you like me to disapprove?
She's basically pointing out how Katie is constantly judgmental, how Katie expects them to act in a certain way without actually getting to know them, without actually acknowledging that they are also people, that they also have some kind of knowledge and understanding and live in the same world. And despite having differences, they're not morons. She's pointing out how Katie is expecting them to be against her when that's not the case. It actually reminds me of the Sex and the City scene where Carrie goes to Big's social circle party and how she's better than everyone and she just hates everyone just because she actually doesn't feel good enough. It almost feels like Carrie and Big's story was heavily inspired by the way we were. I can see where the problem started. It cuts to Hubble and he is talking with JJ, who is surprised that Hubble is with Katie. When did this start? Katie from back in the day?
I mean, Hubble Gardner and Katie Muraski. Hey. No, really, she looks terrific.
I like her, JJ.
As Carol Ann is leaving Katie on the balcony, Hubble is approaching her. You know, you do it yourself. You make yourself feel out of place. Katie, though, disagrees.
Your friends make me feel like I'm invited for drinks and everyone else is staying for supper.
How it feels to her is that his friends only accept her to a certain limit, to a certain level. Yes, they will be nice with her, and yes, they will accept her as his girlfriend, but they're not really interested in getting to know her or accept her for who she actually is. He still challenges her and asks her why doesn't she talk to them. But Katie says that she does.
You don't talk, you lecture. I mean, what was that speech in there about Yalta? Katie, there isn't anybody in that room that needs you to explain Yalta.
Every time a discussion is open, it almost feels like it's a stage for her to show everyone how she knows things as though no one else knows it. But according to Katie, if they would actually understand things, like really understand what's going on, they wouldn't keep making jokes out of things that are very serious. Hubble disagrees, and some things are funny.
And all that yammering about selling your novel to Hollywood, I mean, I hope that's supposed to be funny.
Why?
Why?
Yeah,
Why? Because you're too good for Hollywood, that's why.
Now Katie, in my personal opinion, actually says what is bothering her. Hubble, though, is confused. Why? Why would that part be funny? Why would it be so wrong for me to sell a book to Hollywood? Oh, you didn't. Did you just try to tell Katie that you are less than what she thinks you can be? Katie cannot believe that he is even asking that. He is too good for Hollywood. He is better than this. But Hubble disagrees. What about if he would be lucky to sell his book to Hollywood? I mean, why is she so convinced that Hollywood is so bad. She's never been there. Where is she getting all this information? He doesn't know either, but he's at least not so convinced in this is not the way. It's clear that these two have no reason in being together. One doesn't know the difference between sharing an opinion and enforcing it on others, while the other one not understanding that this is not really about politics, though they want to present it like that. And it's more about the me versus them situation. Again, to me, it's very interesting how they position Katie as someone who sees Hubble for the beyond that he can be, the better than just the superficial things. But she does not extend the same notion or the same sentiment to his friends. No. They are not like that. But Hubble, the cute, popular, handsome guy, oh, he's different. You can see where this idea of how women know better about who the man actually is, and all of this, I know him better, I understand better, all of you are just jerks, comes from. I mean, if this was the representation of a true love, of two people coming together despite their differences, it's whack. All in all, this might sound a little bit tricky. I might step on some toes right now if I haven't already, but to me, it looks like, at least at this point, that Hubble is with a bit of a toxic partner. It looks like a couple of days pass, and we see them at a bar. Katie is running a little bit late, but that's not important. Hubble wrote the first 8 chapters of his new book. Yes, he is ready to embark back on the writing career, all because of Katie, the belief she has in him. He's a little bit hesitant about, what would Katie think about the book, but at the same time, he wants to know. Like, what do you think about this? It's late evening, we see him on the street, and he sees some kind of news in the newspaper. And that makes him go to a friend of his. He knocks on the door, and Carol Ann opens.
Ahoy.
Yes, it's his best friend's girlfriend or wife at this point, and his ex from back in the day. She's surprised, but she lets him in. A little small chat, but eventually he tells Carol Ann that he has a chance to sell his book to Hollywood. He also wonders, what does Carol Ann think about that? What does she think in general about living a life on the coast?
What do you think about living in sunshine all year long and going to work in a sports car, sailing?
Sounds wonderful.
Now we know that Katie is not keen on Hollywood. So it does look like Hubble went to ask Carol Ann, another woman, I guess, because it's not something he feels comfortable sharing with Katie. You see, Katie wants the best for him. Katie sees the potential in him. And a part of him maybe doesn't want to work for that potential, to be better. And people, that does not make him a bad person. Just because someone doesn't want what you think they want, they can be, doesn't mean that they're weak and a coward. It just means that they are honest with themselves about what they actually want. Also, I'm a little bit confused about this whole scene, him going back to his ex, because here's the thing. This is like more than 10 years later, and all of them are still friends. Like, he's hanging out with JJ and Carol Ann, like they're all friends. So a part of me would want to say he's an asshole. He went to his ex to talk about his book because he cannot talk to Katie about it, or he doesn't feel comfortable talking to Katie about it, which is also not okay. But at the same time, they do show that they are in general friends. So a part of me also sees it as, well, he just asked a friend about it. Honestly, I was a little bit like, how do I feel about this? And I did not come to a conclusion. Well, the only conclusion that I came to is that the relationship between Hubble and Katie is sus. A part of me also sees this as Hubble struggling with being who he actually wants to be. Like, at the end of the day, he wants the easy way out. I mean, at least here it's presented as though this is the easy way way out, right? It's easy to sell to Hollywood and have this life. And it almost shows that this is bad. This is like boo-hoo. You just want the easy way out. But then at the end of the day, don't we all just want the easy way out? Don't we all just want to just freaking live a little bit? Not struggle all the time, not trying to survive all the time, be better, strive for more. Thinking about it, did the movie industry romanticize the struggle in general? And that's why today we don't even know how to relax anymore and enjoy life apart from scrolling on our phones or watching Netflix. Because God forbid to actually live a bit. God forbid to actually go out and enjoy things, because that's already a luxury. And is it really good that you're not struggling all the time and working hard? Or how we like to call it today, being productive. It is okay to waste your time on TV though. That's different. There's a little pause there as they're standing in her apartment as though they are wondering why didn't they stay together. She offers him a drink, but Hubble refuses and he goes back home. Katie is at home, waiting on Hubble, actually falling asleep with the book in her arms. And on the table, there are 2 glasses and a bottle of wine. She wakes up, she looks at Hubble, and she tells him that she likes the book.
I love the way you write.
Hubble is happy, smiling, and he feels relieved that Katie likes what he's written. By the way, I keep doing this. Is it annoying? I have no idea if I'm gonna be able to remove it from the audio. Sorry. I don't know. All of this looks to me like someone who is desperate to get an approval from their partner, while at the same time, because of it, potentially trying to be someone they don't want to be or that they are not. The president has died and Katie is devastated. But despite that, they go to hang out with Hubble's friends. The problem is that these friends are having a little bit too much fun based on what just happened. And this time, Katie's kettle is whistling, okay? She has had it. How can they make fun when a man just died? How can they mock his wife when she just lost her husband? She doesn't get it. She doesn't get how can they be so insensitive? Do they have any empathy, any emotion, any understanding?
Scads of swell material here for a good novel. That is, if this is what you want to write about. People who tell stupid jokes instead of feeling something.
Hey.
Hubble is trying to calm her down, but Katie is not calming down this time. She is telling everyone off. The room goes silent as she continues. Is that what you're gonna write about? Some stupid freaking jokes? What about writing what is real? What about writing about feelings?
JJ's gonna buy your book and we're all gonna go to Hollywood.
Katie, lots of good writers went there. Fitzgerald.
He's dead, you dummy!
Yeah, I don't know. It feels that every time Katie is mad about his friends, she's actually mad about him not trying to be what she expects him to be, right?
A guy told a bad joke. He's sorry.
Why did you bring me here?
Why couldn't they just go out, take a walk, be sad? What's wrong with being sad? But Hubble wanted to spend time with friends. He wanted to not feel sad all the time. It won't make any difference. The president died, yes, and life goes on.
And it just didn't happen to you. Everything in the world that happens does not happen to you personally.
Look, it's not cool that he took her to a place where she obviously doesn't feel good at a time when she is emotionally distraught. On the other hand, I kind of agree with him. It does feel like Katie is taking everything very personal. But that's when I say that it's more about me versus them situation than rather politics of it all. It's like you're choosing them over me.
Now behave yourself.
I don't want to behave myself. I don't care about behaving myself.
Then don't. Do what you want.
Okay, that's where Hubble lost me. That's where I'm like, boy, sit down. You're not gonna say to anyone to behave themselves, okay? She might be out of line, but you're not her parents. Katie is not stepping back. She is not going to behave, and she does not want to behave. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is how women are. They're not able of having a civil conversation without getting emotional and dramatic. She wants to leave, and she wants Hubble to leave with her. But this time he's staying. He's not going with her. She's working at a studio and Hubble comes to see her. Katie rushes to him and she starts to apologize. She knows that she's been a bad girl, but she's better now. It was like a tantrum, she gets them sometimes.
Listen, I was a bad girl. I know that, but I'm better now. You see, it was like a tantrum, you know what I mean? I get them from time to time.
There you have it. Women just get too much sometimes. It's not their fault. But Hubble is not here for her apologies. Katie continues to apologize, saying that she's just pain in the ass.
Oh, I swear now. I go to swearing school, 48th Street, soundproof school. I'm already up to the F's. I'm also taking a course on laughing, and I'm studying Protestant cookery.
Don't.
She feels a little bit all over the place. And the driving force, well, Hubble not liking her anymore, or Hubble ending this. You see, all Katie wants is to be accepted by Hubble, the version that she thinks he could be. It's quite interesting, isn't it? When it's the two of them, there is no threat of the values or the beliefs. She just becomes this little girl that wants to do whatever is needed for the two of them to stay together. In Katie's mind, it's almost like the problem is not the two of them. The problem are his friends. That's the vibe that I'm getting, and it is bullshit. Again, this was filmed like 50 years ago, and I can see how this could become a role model for young girls, I guess, Be different, stay true to your values and to your morals, stand up for yourself, but also be submissive to a man. Because at the end of the day, what's important is the two of you, or the illusion that you created of the two of you. And then we got screwed for the next 50 years. Hubble doesn't see them making it. And Katie wonders why. Looking with the eyes of a modern woman and what we are exposed to, it's actually quite refreshing seeing a man making sense in this case. Comparing into the analysis of Sex and the City and in general movies, it's always a little bit presented of how the man is the douche, but the girl cannot see it, right? But this time, I genuinely see Hubble being a little bit of a victim in this relationship. I mean, he for sure was a victim. We talked about it before. But also in general, it feels that Katie keeps on pulling him back, but he doesn't really want to be there. It's not really him, the person who is with Katie. Though they're trying to present it as, oh, he's just trying to take the easy way out. Some people want that easy lifestyle. And that's okay. I mean, lucky they can have them. Now, could more people have a better lifestyle if maybe on the top they would spread it a little bit more? Yes, probably. But that's a topic for another day. And this time, the problem with Hubble is that he is driven by his own need to be special and to be better. And, he is basically almost intrigued by someone who sees how better he could be and how much potential he has. So despite, from my perspective, Hubble being a little bit used here in some way, there is also a reason why is he being used. We talked about it many times. When there is a selfish element that's driving your own decisions until you figure out what that need is and let it go, it's going to be difficult to actually make any changes. Katie starts taking her earrings off and she says, "It was too easy for you, huh?"
It was too easy for you.
Easy?
I don't mean sexually. I mean easy, like everything is for you.
She's getting a little bit scary, to be honest. It's almost like this erratic and persona of being sorry and blah, blah, blah. It was a facade. And now she's like, okay, I guess this is it. At the end of the day, it was too easy for you, huh? Hubble is triggered though. What do you mean easy? You think you're easy compared to what? The 100 Years' War? You are so ready to fight. You don't have the time to understand anything. Yeah, I kind of agree with him on that one also. I'm telling you, this movie is not putting the best light on this first female lead. And here's the thing. For Hubble, that's okay. She should fight for a cause. She should stay the way she is. But Katie adds, yeah, up to a point. That's right, up to a point. He's putting his finger on the desk and things are getting serious. Oh, but Katie gets it. Oh, she gets it. All of this is about her not fitting in the high, wealthy environment. That's the problem.
I get it. I don't fit on Beekman Place. That's what's really wrong.
You really think that's what I'm talking
Yes,
about?
I do. No demands, just fun, laughs. Go ahead, go have a good time on Beekman Place.
Yes, according to Katie, the problem is again being different. I even read somewhere that there is also this underlying thing where she's actually Jew and then the representation of Jews and, how you're not accepted. I get that. But this movie ain't it, at least from my perspective. And of course, I was born 20 years later. For me, throughout this whole movie, all I can see is Katie longing for something that she cannot get, part of society or part of life that she doesn't belong to. And she's doing everything to be good enough for him. But at the same time, she is not accepting Hubble at all for who he actually is. She's just accepting him for the illusion that she created that he is. So it's kind of funny if you think about it. It's almost like, yes, be different and you should accept me because of that. But then for the other person, you're like, oh, no. You're not what you think you are. Okay, I actually know what you actually are. And you should be with me because I'm going to show how better you can be. Okay. As perplexed as I was by Katie stating this, so was Hubble. You really think that's what this is all about? Yes, I do. If you wanted to end it like a gentleman, there, you did it. Now, go have fun on Beekman's Place. If you don't know, Beekman's Place refers to the high society and the wealthy friends, where she doesn't belong. He should just go there.
I'm calm now, Hubble. You can go.
Tantrum. He leaves and this is the end. Or so you thought, let's go into the next absurd thing. We see Katie at home and she is sad. She's trying to work, but the mind is just not there. We also see Hubble at JJ's and he also seems to be sad and doesn't really know what to do. He even grabs the phone, but then he puts it back down. And then we transition to Katie and her phone, how she's waiting for that call. I mean, transitions in that time, work it. But Katie builds up the courage. She picks up the phone and she calls Hubble. She's crying and she feels bad, but she has a very peculiar question. You see, she needs someone to talk to, someone who can listen to her, someone who can comfort her. She also cannot fall asleep and she needs like a best friend or something. But the problem is that Hubble is her best friend.
Only you're my best friend. Isn't that dumb? So dumb. You're the best friend I ever had. Hubble, I promise I won't touch you. Hubble, could you please come over right away, please?
Oh, I know, Mary. I know. Are you losing it? Are you losing it? Is this real? I mean, for Katie, it's simple. If you broke up with me, the least you can do is comfort me. Okay. For the love of me, I have no idea what were they trying to portray here. It's quite peculiar indeed. You know what should Katie do? Katie should take a breath, sit down, and ask herself for a second, how come I do not have anyone else in my life? How come I don't have any friends? Why am I so obsessed with this guy and this love? But okay, it happens. It can easily happen that you're in a relationship and you let go of your friendships. Sometimes the focus goes there. Is it okay? I would say, despite being very normal, there is a point where then you still need to kind of, have your own friends or have friends together, have people outside of your life, because life is not just two people being together, okay? It's short, it's gonna end. So I think it's quite good if you have other people you can share your life with. But the fact that she feels okay asking him to comfort her in this time, like he also broke up the relationship, tells me that Katie will do anything to get what Katie wants. Please help me understand that this is anything but selfish and problematic. At one point, she even says to him, I won't touch you. Huh? She's using her being sad, her not being able to sleep, her being upset to guilt trip Hubble to come and comfort her. It's wrong, it's manipulative, and we went through it in the Sex and the City analysis, so you can have fun there. But think about it. This is how one of the first female leads in a movie, in a blockbuster movie, was portrayed as. And this is a movie and a character that inspired many women around the world, because it was first time there was focus on a female lead. And this is what they got. If you think about it, we should be quite compassionate to the generations before us. Hubble cannot say no. I mean, how can a man reject a woman in distress, right? Now, if you've watched my analysis on the J-Lo and This Is Me, the title is actually This Is Me, love story, which is apparently falling apart, which, shocker, then you know what is about to happen and how fucked up it is. For the rest of you, you're in for a treat, especially if you're into understanding manipulative behavior. Hubble shows up at Katie's and he brought some sleeping pills. Now, Katie is not one who just takes medicine. Remember, she doesn't even have aspirin. So she's a little bit scared, but wonders, will he wait until she falls asleep?
I'm really sorry. But that's what best friends are for, aren't they?
Sure, because it's his fault that he's the only person you can turn to, despite him going through the same freaking breakup. Now he needs to comfort you. She wants to ask him something, and she takes a sip of the drink. Oh, I hope this won't make me drunk instead of sleepy. It's very clear that she's trying to play a certain role of, I'm just, poor little me, and you can be the man who will treat me good and help me understand things and teach me things. Today, we would say that she's playing into the need for a man to take care of a woman. Open my jar because I can't do it.
Women have to pretend to be weak and fragile so that men can feel superior.
It's pathetic. We don't need to treat men as dumbasses to make ourselves feel better.
It's because I'm not attractive enough, isn't it? I'm not fishing, really. I'm not. I know I'm attractive. Sort of. I'm not attractive in the right way.
The measures this woman will go to avoid accepting that you're just not to be together. Period. But that's the thing. For Katie, the relationship is not working because she's not a part of his high society social circles. That's the problem. Not the fact that we have totally different values, totally different beliefs. No, that's not the problem because according to Katie, that's also what he believes. He's just persuaded by this other group. It's the me versus them. It's bullshit. The problem is Katie is accepting him to a limit. Hubble sees Katie for who she is and he recognizes this is not going to work. But Katie doesn't want to let it go because for Katie, there shouldn't be any problem between the two of them.
I don't have the right style for you. Do I? Be my friend.
No. You don't have the right style.
I'll change.
No, don't change.
Hubble doesn't want her to change. He wants her to stay the way she is. She's her own girl and she has her own style. Again, very interesting how the male lead is saying all the right things. I have to say Hubble could be quite a role model for some of the men today. Up to this point, okay? Up to this point. He also falls down on his face. But Katie doesn't want to have her own style if that means that she cannot have him. Why can't she have him? Why?
Why?
Because you push too hard.
Hubble shares with Katie how she has all these expectations. There is not a minute where they can just relax and enjoy life.
If I push too hard, it's because I want things to be better.
Sure, she makes waves, but she has to, and she'll keep on making waves until he is every wonderful thing he should be and will be. A tiger mom has a good reason to be a tiger mom. It's all for your own good.
You'll never find anyone as good for you as I am, to believe in you as much as I do or love you as much.
I know that.
Well, then why?
Any comments? Any guesses what this is? Manipulation. Okay, this is pure manipulation. Of course, make the other person believe that you are the only person who can love them the best, you are the only person who can do for them the best, and the only person who is actually capable to help you be the best. If you're gonna leave then your life will probably suck. Today we call this kind of behavior narcissistic, but maybe back in the day, they didn't yet have the right knowledge. This is wrong, okay? And if you still live in the illusion of how you can make the other person better, as in, you're the only one who can see what they can be and the only one who will help them, you have a problem. You need to go to therapy and you need to chill. Calm down, take a chocolate. Unfortunately for some people, aka J-Lo, this scene means true love and not a true problem. But then, now she has a true problem, doesn't she? You can only support, you can inspire. The point is to inspire people to be who they can be, not to attach that to your presence. Like, unless you're with me, then that's not reachable. But to me, this is also almost like a prime example of someone being desperate not to be alone. So then Katie is taking like really extreme measures. She's trying to manipulate him and even scare him into being with her. And the thing is that Hubble agrees. Hubble says that he knows that no one will love him the way she does. He knows all of that. And that's very sad. But he also doesn't see this just now magically be good again. Is that what she thinks? That now things will just be fine? He's wondering what's going to change. What's going to be actually different?
We'll both be wrong. We'll both lose.
Couldn't we both win?
I have never come across such a clear example in movie, in TV shows, where a man is going clearly through shit while a woman is using the love part as an excuse to be manipulative. Like, this is clear. And of course, this is now man, woman, blah, blah, but just try to look at it in general. Someone trying to get out of a relationship because they don't feel good in it. They don't feel like they can be themselves. They constantly feel like they need to achieve some expectation. And the other person trying to use the love and I care so much for you as an excuse to actually manipulate. For Hubble, he sees it as both of them losing. But Katie wonders, why can't they both win? I mean, she'll go to Hollywood. She likes Hollywood. And Hubble stands up. He goes through the window and it's clear that he's a bit struggling. He's confused. He's like, oh, what to do? Walk away. Hubble, walk away. Katie smiles because what? She got him? He turns around and he says, Katie, you expect so much. And Katie says,
oh, but look what I've got.
Creepy. Creepy, creepy, creepy. They're back together. And this time they are living Hubble's dreams. Yes, that's the agreement. Now, Katie will do everything in her power to stay with him and whatever he wants. She won't have any tantrums. They're gonna live happily ever after. They're sailing on a boat. They have a new beach house. They got married and they're setting up their new home. And they're finally happy. Now, you maybe wonder, how is it going now with Katie being in his circles and being in this wealthy environment? How does she deal with her beliefs and her values being challenged?
There are no dancers in his book. You can't just have dances for the sake of having dancers.
Whole organization. No.
I never liked his movies anyway.
Honk, 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 said the duck.
They have a solution. He just needs to tame her a little bit. Hubble is writing his third book or like third part of his book. I don't know. Katie is working at some newspaper, writing, I'm not sure either. But they're living the fancy life. They have a good car, good house. They're living the rich life. You might say everything Katie apparently was against. Despite her now being okay with Hubble selling his book to Hollywood, she does have a limit, okay? It's all until they move to France. That's the aim. That's the goal for Katie. She's making a compromise right now, but it's okay because, then they're going to do what she wants them to do. Like a true supportive wife with her delusions. So the director is hosting a party and Hubble and Katie join. Now, Katie does not like the director. First of all, his political views are a little bit sus. And second of all, he's trying to censor some parts in Hubble's movie. But right now, she's not focusing on that. She's focusing on learning French and also learning about French cuisine. But there's something else cooking. You see, Katie is pregnant.
Oh, I got one for you.
I think I can take another one.
Loudmouth Jewish girl from New York City comes to Malibu, California, and tells her gorgeous Goyish guy
Good alliteration.
that she's pregnant, you see, and he just looks at her and.
Hubble is excited and both of them are looking forward to this new chapter in their life. They're organizing a little get-together, and while Katie is preparing the food, Hubble's agent stands next to her. And she shares how she's working on this deal for Hubble to get 3 extra pictures, 3 extra movies. Katie realizes that would mean that they would stay longer in Hollywood. But that's not the plan. Rhea, the agent, is, in her business mode. So she reminds Katie that that would mean extra money. They could really live good. But Katie thought they were already living a good life.
You and Hubble could live in style.
As Americans, we vote for government officials.
I thought we did, Rhea.
It looks like Katie is realizing that this little Hollywood arrangement right now before they move to France is not so temporary, okay? And it could very easily become permanent. But right now, they are at a viewing party at the director's house. And at one point, the director realizes that they are being recorded. You see, the times in Hollywood are quite challenging. And there is a lot of pressure on what's put out there. A little backstory, this is the time when Hollywood is going through a little bit of a crisis, and it's even called the Hollywood 10. This was a group of actors, directors, producers who were blacklisted because their movies had communist messaging in them. So they basically were canceled from the Hollywood, and this created a lot of, uproar amongst people. And while Katie was on the side of the Hollywood 10, because no one should be blacklisted because of what they believe or these messages that they have, while Hubble and JJ, his best friend, who is now also a producer, and the director were more on the side, let's do what's good for our business. If we need to censor stuff, we're gonna censor it. We're not gonna associate ourselves with the Hollywood 10. Now, this also impacts Katie and Hubble. They find themselves at a crossroad. You see, Katie always stands up for what is right, while Hubble is trying to be successful in Hollywood.
What do you want from me?
Tell Katie to stay out of it.
He's struggling and he doesn't know how to do it. So we see him also grabbing a drink quite often. At the same time, he also finds out that his best friend JJ and Carol Ann, who was his ex before but now is with JJ, they are having trouble at home. So Hubble comes home and he continues to drink. He's a little bit, heavy on the drink. He's not drunk, but it is clear that he is struggling and the alcohol is the coping drug. They exchange a little bit of words about this problem that they have. Katie is called to go to Washington and testify when it comes to the Hollywood 10, and Hubble is not quite happy about it. Like, he knows that she's gonna do it, but the best thing would be if they would all just stay home and just let those things not be a part of their life. Katie cannot do that. She is someone who's gonna stand for what's right. And honestly, that's good. That's good for her. All of this also makes him feel like they're kind of back where they started, on the opposite sides. But Katie disagrees. She goes to Washington, and in the meantime, we see Hubble spending time with his friends, with his friend JJ and Carol Ann. They're looking at old video clips of him being an athlete, Carol Ann cheering, and they're kind of reminiscing the good times. There's also a clip of Katie giving her speech, and the three of them kind of agree that she really got them that day. Like, she had a good speech and she's a good woman. It's almost like they're admiring her for what she stands for. And Hubble seems to also acknowledge that. He seems proud of his wife. Now, I don't know how, but we get a scene of the two of them struggling to push through press. So it's Katie and Hubble, director, and his wife. So they're pushing through, and the reporters were coming at them, trying to get questions, trying to understand their stance on Hollywood 10. And there is a clear difference between the director's answers, who are, condemning the Hollywood 10, and then Katie saying that how can he say that they are, courageous and all of that. And Hubble is kind of, in the midst of all of it. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of drama, and at one point, a reporter attacks Katie. So Hubble goes after the reporter and starts hitting him. We can see Hubble protecting his wife and at the same time being very frustrated. Why is she even putting them in this situation? It is not safe for her to be so vocal. And right now, this guy actually came after her. It's a clear example of two people who shouldn't be together, in my opinion. Because every time Katie does something and there's a consequences for Hubble, that's a reason why Katie shouldn't even do anything. While if Hubble would have the same values and the same beliefs, he would stand together with Katie against this judgment that they're having. He wouldn't be like, you shouldn't do that. He would be like, yes, this is how it is. Like, the times are tough, but we need to stand for what we stand. And they would work as partners. But now, because they actually don't share the same values, now they can see, and we as audience can see, that they cannot actually act as partners. It's more like, I need to protect you because of the obligation, because you're my wife, but you shouldn't even be doing this. So they get to a safe place, and she's trying to help Hubble because he's just been in a fight, but he's not having it. She's also apologizing, but for Hubble, what's even the point? At the end of the day, it's her fault that they're in this situation. She should have toned it down. He continues though. You see, according to Hubble, it's not only, we have a difficult situation right now. He sees as this being all that Katie actually wanted.
I really didn't expect this.
You didn't expect to come to Hollywood and get a chance to tell off the world either, did you?
Is that what you think I'm doing?
You bet I do.
Katie is pissed. She can't believe it. She can't believe how Hubble is acting, and she most definitely cannot believe how can you not condemn this director. I get it, you're working with him. But don't you hear what he's saying? He's mocking people who actually stand up for what's right. But Hubble strikes back. What right? What is right? There is no free speech in this country, and it will never be.
Hubble, you are telling me to close my eyes and to watch people being destroyed so that you can go on working.
I'm telling you that people are more important than any goddamn witch hunt. You and me. Not causes, not principles.
Hubble, people are their principles.
We see Katie having lunch, or she meets with someone, a friend of hers, and they have this conversation about what to do. Her and Hubble are on this opposite sides. But at the end of the day, she decides that what she values more is him. So for her, the choice is simple. The choice is him. Hubble, on the other hand, is going through his own struggle with the director, with the Hollywood, and basically with his movie. He's being challenged if he can even censor the movie in the right way. Is he capable of making this movie in a way that won't get them in trouble, basically? And Hubble will not have it. This is his book, and he is willing to do anything to write the script for the movie. He is promising that he's gonna make it the way they want to make it, and it's not a problem for him.
I learn fast. I always have. Things come... Oh, Christ, George, I can do it. I know what you want. I know what your concept is. Let me.
With no resistance?
No. No resistance.
As he is exiting the studio, he runs into Carol Ann. She's going through a divorce, it seems like, with JJ. She is packing and she's gonna move back to New York. This little friendly exchange actually leads to Hubble cheating on Katie with Carol Ann. We see Hubble, Katie, the director, his wife, and some other people at his movie's viewing. the first check, I guess, of his new script and how it all came down in the movie. And people are not impressed, okay? Katie seems also quite disappointed. Katie is disappointed that Hubble, at the end of the day, did do all of these changes to his movie, to his book, just to please the director, just to please Hollywood. It's clear to Katie that Hubble sold out. It's probably also clear to Katie that her fantasy is breaking. The illusion of who Hubble is cracking.
Katie, the day you die, you'll still be a nice Jewish girl.
Are you still a nice Gentile boy?
I never was. I only looked it to you.
That's not true.
Oh, yes, it is. When you love someone, from Roosevelt to me, you go deaf, dumb, and blind.
Well, try not to fall in love on the basis of the illusions. Maybe that will help. Exactly. He is who he has always been. Everything else was just an illusion or projection of Katie's illusion onto him, that he is better, he can be better. So she could almost justify being with the popular kid, supported by his own desires to be more than just the easy life, more than just the popular kid. Hubble also adds that Katie goes blind and dumb when she falls in love with someone, be it politics or him.
Not blind, Hubble. And certainly not dumb.
Yes, Katie knows about what Hubble did with Carol Ann. People talk. She also knows that he's gonna say how it didn't mean anything. And Hubble confirms, yeah, it really didn't mean anything. Here's the thing, it might not mean anything with that person. It means that the love they have for you is not as strong as you think it is. What you two have also doesn't mean as much anymore. And that's the thing that we should be focusing on. That's at least how I see it when it comes to cheating. I'm not, at least with right now, you never know what happens in the future because I don't want to be a smartass. But right now, with the values and the beliefs that I have, I just don't see a relationship working when one of the person betrays the other. I just don't. She congratulates him on the picture. It's clear that she's, just being polite, but they get interrupted and also the conversation changes. Katie asks Hubble, why did it have to be her? Why did he have to go with Carol Ann?
Tell me I'm not good enough. Tell me you don't like my politics. Tell me I talk too much. You don't like my perfume, my family, my pot roast. But for God's sake, you didn't have to go back to Beekman Place, did you?
You see, that's it. That's the actual problem. The problem is not their relationship not being strong enough. The problem is that he chose the life that she didn't feel like she belongs to. And again, Hubble is making sense. He tells her that it was never about the girl. It was never about Carol Ann. The problems that they have nothing to do with another person. I do not support cheaters, but he is spitting facts. He asks her to just give up already. But Katie can't. She cannot give up.
I can't. I hate what you did to your book. I hate the picture. I hate those people. I hate the palm trees. I wish it would rain. Oh, I want.
What?
I want us to love each other.
We see them back at their place, and while Hubble is working, Katie seems to be struggling with falling asleep. She's not doing well with everything that is happening. Hubble is also sailing with JJ, and it comes out that Carol Ann actually left JJ. Now, I don't know if JJ knows that the two of them hooked up, but what he does say is that at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. It's not like someone like Katie would leave him, implying that Katie is much more valuable than Carol Ann.
It's not like, losing somebody. Katie, that would be a loss.
Oh, Bis. Now, how problematic is this? Which one are you trying to say? The fact that she's not like the other girls and she has values and beliefs and blah, 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 while Carol Ann is the, like Carrie in Sex and the City says, the simple girl. Is that the message? A woman who is not like the other girls, it's much more worthy? Or is it the fact that Katie didn't leave Hubble? Is it the message a woman who stays by her husband is the right, valuable woman? 70s were interesting. They play again the little game of best things, and Hubble reflects that his best years were actually the time that he got married to Katie. Hubble and Katie are having dinner, and it looks like it's their last supper. She asks him if he ever really wanted to finish his book. And Hubble admits that no, not really. He didn't really see a point in it. He also never really wanted to go to France. It was her wish, not his. Katie wishes that they would be old, that all of this would already pass and things would be simple again. But Hubble reminds her that things were never simple.
Katie, it was never uncomplicated.
But it was lovely. Wasn't it?
Yes. It was lovely.
Katie has a favor to ask. Will you stay with me until the baby is born? Excuse me, what? Wait, what? What just happened right now? They're breaking up, but it seems like Hubble is also breaking up with his child. What in the bad father is happening? Were they actually showing that if a guy decides to leave his wife, he's totally okay to leave also the children? Not only that, if he decides to stay with you until you give birth, they're doing you a favor? And then on the other hand, why is it automatically that the woman is the one who gets to keep the child? You know, it sounds so weird, but it's normal for a guy to just lose both of them. Huh? I mean, were we really played by the Hollywood in general with the movies? The way we see how our generations were played with shows like Sex and the City. Is this a representation where movies back in the day gave some very crazy ideas that people still stick to this day? Best, we are influenced. The baby is born and we see Hubble in hospital with Katie. It's a girl and Katie decides to name her Rachel. Hubble is fine with it. Katie lies her head on the pillow and there is heavy, heavy sadness. She knows this is it. He is leaving. Fast forward to, I guess a couple of years. Katie is crossing the street and she actually sees Hubble leaving a hotel. She smiles, she's happy, and so is he. He's with another girl and she is kind of looking like Carol Ann. Style-wise, the simple girl. The right girl for Hubble. They hug and they strangely kiss each other on the mouth. Was that a thing? Hubble notices that Katie changed her hair. It's back to what it was. The curly Katie.
Your hair.
Oh. No, I don't.
It's pretty.
Thank you.
He also shares that he's actually working on a TV show, on a television. He went from the big screen to the small screen. Katie congratulates him, but there is a hint of he went down. I mean, what did you expect? He didn't stay with the person who could make him the best. We also find out that Katie is actually married and she actually lives back in New York. They say goodbye and Katie tells him to come to stop by for drinks one day. He really should come. If you're thinking, what the fuck is this? Isn't he in any contact with her or his daughter? You're thinking exactly what I was thinking. I was like, what the F is this? Katie goes back to the other street and we see her, sharing flyers again. She's still activist. She's standing for what is right.
Never give up, do you?
Only when I'm absolutely forced to.
She looks at Hubble and then the iconic scene.
Your girl is lovely, Hubble. Why don't you bring her for a drink when you come?
I can't go.
They hug each other with tears in their eyes, knowing that there's always going to be love between them, but they are just too different. He finally asks about his daughter. Wow, what a man. How is she? Oh, she's just so beautiful. You would be so proud of her, Hubble. He asks if her new man is a good father, and Katie says yes. They smile and he says, "See ya, Katie." And that is the end. Now, what the movie is trying to show is how Hubble went to his core life, the simple life, the easy life. You know, he has his simple girl, and he also is working now on a television. He's not even a movie writer anymore, let alone writing books, while Katie stayed true to who she is, to her curly hair and to her passion for activism and standing up for what is right. And as much as, people can interpret this in different ways, I personally see it as, no, they both just understood that they're gonna pursue it and they want to live the life that they actually want to live. He wants that life and she wants this life, and that is okay. And that is actually a good message of this movie. You know, sometimes people don't click, don't try to impose your own illusions, don't try to be someone you're not, but actually accept who you are, who you want to be, and you are good enough either way. But all in all, I am still wondering, what in the absent father is good propaganda is this? Is this movie actually an homage to baby daddies? Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about this first movie, this representation of true love to many people around the world and many people who should work on themselves. And as this movie ended, trust your individuality.